Well, first of all, thank you for inviting me to give this talk at the Weizmann Institute of Science. It's a great pleasure for me to be here. My name is Shoshan Haran, and I'm from Kibbutz Be'eri. I received my PhD from the Hebrew University of Jerusalem and awarded a Fulbright grant to do a postdoc position in plant science in Rutgers University, New Jersey. After my postdoc, I joined the seed breeding industry, where I served as a senior research manager. And after more than 10 years in the seed breeding industry, I've decided to leave my position, and I founded Fair Planet, which is a non-profit organization. The mission of Fair Planet is to enable smallholder farmers in developing countries to exit the poverty cycle. And we are going to do this by providing them access to high-quality seeds. So in the next 15 minutes, I'll try to show you how we do it. So just an overview of the presentation, a short introduction, the problem, vicious cycle of subsistence farming and poverty. Our solution is to bridge the gap between high-quality seed sources and the smallholder farmers' needs. I'll describe to you the pilot project that we have completed in Ethiopia, social impact and sustainability of a model of a full-scale project, and the challenges we are facing today. So the seed industry is developing seed solutions that are the food base of our world. I think everybody knows it, especially here in the Weizmann Institute. Thousands of seed varieties are being developed every year for all types of agroclimatic conditions. And hundreds of millions of dollars are being invested annually to improve crop yields and the crop quality. However, these high-quality seeds are not accessible to smallholder farmers in the poor and hunger-stricken areas of the world. So this is what I'm going to address here today. First of all, the hunger map produced by the FAO stats. You can find it on their site. And you can see the darker red color indicates hunger. And according to the shades, you can get a good impression of the situation. And you can see that the most hunger-stricken areas are in sub-Saharan African countries. Now, most of the population in sub-Saharan African countries rely on agriculture, and more than 85% of the agricultural activity is subsistence farming in small family farms. But what is the problem? The problem in subsistence farming in these countries are that they face the vicious cycle of they use low-quality seeds, and hence they get low crop yields. They reuse the seeds again and again and again by using, the seeds of the fruits that they grow. And that causes malnutrition and poverty because they don't get enough yields to feed their own people. And the worst thing is that if we do nothing, it will only get worse. And you know that in biology, when you use the seeds again and again and again, they deteriorate from one generation to the other. So something needs to be done. What is our mission? We want to provide smallholder farmers in developing countries with means to exit the cycle of poverty. Access to high-quality seeds will allow them sustainable economic growth and lead to economic independence. So what's our solution? We want to make high-quality vegetables, first of all, suitable for local conditions. And when I say suitable, I mean not only for the agroclimatic conditions, the soil, the plant pathogens, the water, but also to the agricultural practices that are available for the local farmers. So it's not enough to find the right plants to the right environment, but also to the methods that they can implement. Once we find out which plant varieties are suitable, we want to make them accessible. Nowadays, these farmers cannot access high-quality seeds. They are not in the market for them. And affordable economically. What I mean is that they will be able to buy the seeds and grow them and get the produce and the income. Now, I don't know if this term is very much known, but vegetables are terminated as cash crops. They are designated as cash crops because they can generate high income from very small plots. And that's why we believe at Fair Planet that we should focus on cash crops, on vegetables, that will be the means for economic independence for these smallholder farmers. Now, why are we needed? What's unique about us? Well, the first thing is that we have access to top quality seeds. We have signed agreements with the leading global seed companies that they will provide Fair Planet with seeds and know-how that can be adjusted and tailored to the local needs of these farmers. And to my knowledge, we are the only non-profit organization that have access to such quality seeds. We have a unique concept. We believe in minimal interference in crop practices because we know this will ensure sustainability. We believe in one step at a time. First, you provide high-quality seeds. The next step will be providing drip irrigation and maybe even protected crops. But with the current means of the local farmers, you need to move one step at a time. And I'll show you the power of genetics and the impact of high-quality seeds in these places. The third point is that we know how to do it. The Fair Planet team are ex-seed companies professionals, and we know how to make the variety trials and how to find out which varieties are suitable for the local needs. Okay? So the operational concept, as I said, we are bridging a gap. Actually, today there is a gap here. The seed companies are not active and are not reaching the smallholder farmers in developing countries, and therefore there is no access to high-quality seeds. But they have agreed to provide Fair Planet with the seeds and the know-how. And since our goal is to help those farmers, we will do the selection of the best varieties for the local farmers' needs. We'll demonstrate to them the performance of the varieties, and we will train the local trainers in the country how to implement it in agriculture. We are going to collaborate with existing agricultural projects that will provide us with the operation framework, the local contacts and the facilities, and will also do the long-term training. And through these organizations, we will reach the local farmers, will enable them economic growth, reaching economic independence, and they will become a self-sustaining market. So that's just an overview of a seed center or seed training center. In this part of the center, we will conduct variety trials to choose the best performing varieties for the local conditions. And once we identify these varieties, we will demonstrate the best performing varieties using traditional practices, meaning we are going to grow the best performing varieties in the same methods that the local farmers are able to use. Of course, we'll provide them with know-how, but the means will be the ones that are accessible to them today. We will also demonstrate improved practices, because if you have a seed training center, you want to also show the next step and what is the future going to look like. As I said, Fair Planet is a non-profit organization, and we're using a two-phase approach to achieve sustainability. The first phase is to evaluate existing high-yielding vegetable varieties from all over the world, from leading seed companies, and we are also using local breeding programs in places that they exist. After we evaluate, we select the best performing varieties, and then we know that this specific variety is suitable for the location. Now, if you look at this picture, what you see, this is me in the field, you see this is a variety trial plot. All the varieties are being tested at the same time. You can see that one variety is suffering from a local virus and will actually have no fruits produced, and the other varieties which are resistant to this virus will give a very nice yield. So the idea, it doesn't say that this variety or that variety is good or bad. It should be suitable for the local conditions, because this variety can perform very well maybe in the north of France where there is no virus, okay? That's why you have to do the trials on the place, on the spot, and use the same means that are available to the local farmers. The second phase, which is as important, is to provide the local farmers with agrotechnical training. And we are going to provide the seeds with credit for the first 2 seasons. That means we are not going to give donations of seeds, but we will ask for the payment after they get the harvest and they sell it. So the seeds will become affordable. And we also assist in information how to sell the produce and some market information. According to our model, after 2 seasons, farmers will be able to buy the seeds and the agricultural inputs with their additional income, and therefore they will become economically independent. So when this phase is completed, the seeds will be, first of all, accessible. They will be supplied by us to the local farmers, but also affordable. Now, without going into too many details, these are just showing the timeline of the project. The first phase is to learn and gather information from the target region, what type of soil, plant pathogens, what are the needs of the local farmers, what are the needs of the market, and so on. The second phase is variety selection trials, and this has to be done at least in 2 seasons to verify the results and to be sure that what you are selecting is really suitable for the local conditions. And then you start training the farmers. And also we are assuming that neighbors of the farmers, looking at their neighbors' plots, will also implement the varieties, because they will see the improved yield and additional income that can be generated from the nearby plots. So if we look at the potential impact on the local community after 5 years, according to our models, we can reach 30,000 farmers. This will affect the livelihood of their families, and the average family in sub-Saharan countries is 7 people per family. The agribusiness value chain will be improved. There will be more trade around the produce, the marketing, and the consumer. The local community will benefit from improved nutrition. Currently in Ethiopia, the tomato consumption, for example, is 2% of the world average. So vegetables are not a significant part of the nutrition of the local community. And of course, better prospects for the future generation. More income, the kids will be able to go to school, and you generate gradually, but you generate a real change. With this, I want to move to the pilot project in Ethiopia. The partners for this pilot project are Fair Planet, Mashav, which is the Israeli aid arm for foreign countries, USAID, which is the American aid arm, and the Ethiopian Ministry of Agriculture. The participating seed companies are Limagren, the company that I used to work for. And we signed also agreement with Syngenta, which is the second largest seed company in the world. Limagren, by the way, is number 3. And Enze Zaden, which is a Dutch company, a very big company that focuses on vegetable crops. Netafim provided us the irrigation solutions. And the location is in Butajira. It's the capital town of Meskan Mareko. It's about 2 hours drive south of Addis Ababa, with 22,000 smallholder farmers. Each of them has an average plot of between 1 to 2 hectares. So quite decent plots if you consider vegetable production. Now, the current situation in this area is that those smallholder farmers are growing commercial growth of staple crops, such as corn. You can see here the cornfield. Staple crops are very important from the nation point of view, but unfortunately, they cannot produce high income from small plots. Even if you look at developed countries such as the USA or France or even in Israel, the farmers who grow staple crops like corn and wheat and soy are large-scale farmers, and then they can make a living. But from small scale, you cannot really make a decent income. Vegetables are currently grown for subsistence. They grow a few vegetables behind their house. Here you can see some plants, tomato plants. You see they are very poor plants, a few fruits. Maybe there will be something to eat at the end of the season, but it's not significant, and also it cannot even feed the family itself. The Butajira market looks like this. You see the yields are very low. The quality also, you can look at the size of the tomatoes or the onions, very poor. They're using farm-saved seeds, which give low yields and very low quality of produce. Now, what we did in Butajira, we brought seed varieties from all over the world that were carefully chosen by the seed company's experts as candidates for the target region. We provided them the information of the soil, the pathogens, the needs, and so on. And they, based on their know-how, predicted which varieties may be suitable for this specific location. And their prediction is based on the performance of their varieties in similar conditions worldwide. So from thousands of candidate tomato varieties, they have sent us 20 varieties. The experiment included 30 varieties, but 20 were carefully selected by the leading seed companies to fit the Butajira specific location. Okay, so there is a lot of preparation and know-how invested in pre-selecting what can work for these farmers. Now, trials are designed using professional methodology of the seed companies. And as I said, the varieties arrived from all over the world, but also from local Ethiopian research institutes. And of course, we compared it to the local control used by the farmers. Now, this is how the field is being prepared, oxen driven, but you will see that it works. Our volunteers, Adi Elin here, Adi Elin from my kibbutz, and Yair Katz from nearby, from Enabsor, have joined the local workers and prepared the fields with them. We have sown the seeds in September and prepared seedlings in a professional way. This is also something that you need to teach the local farmers. If you work with high-quality seeds, you don't just spread the seeds with your hand. You prepare seedlings, and then you transplant them into the field. Irrigation is done in furrows, as you see here, in the traditional way. As I said, we believe in minimal interference. We want them to succeed with minimal changes. And this is how the field looked like 8 weeks post-transplanting. So you see that the plants look nice. Each white sign here represents one repetition of one variety. And we used 4 repetitions randomly spread for each method of growing. Now, the performance of the crops, the performance of the different varieties was monitored constantly by our volunteers. This is Matan Livne. And each plot received a grade of evaluation of the earliness, the development, the strength of the plant, number of fruits, disease tolerance, etc. We had an open day in the middle of January, where people from the Ministry of Agriculture, from the seed companies all over the world, from the aid organization, local farmers, came to see this variety trials plot, which is unique, and nothing like this have been done in this scope in Ethiopia so far. The yield of each plot was recorded, measured and recorded, and also the quality of the fruits. So some fruits would have cracking or problems in colors or firmness. So all these data were collected along the seasons. And you can see that we could reach very high quality fruits. Now, the yield. The average yield in Ethiopia today, not today, according to FAO stats from 2010, which is the best statistics that we have today, is a little bit more than, it's about 9,000 kilograms per hectares. But what you see here, that with high quality varieties that are suitable for the location, you can increase the yield more than 5 times just with changing the quality of the seeds. The same practices, the same growing conditions, everything is the same, just the quality of the seeds. What you can also see here, that the local variety, which provides you with the average of what is the yield in Ethiopia, also improved. And the reason for this improvement is the know-how. So you need 2 components. The first component is the genetics, the improved varieties. But you also have to teach the farmers how to use them, to prepare the seedlings, to water in the right way, to give fertilizers, and so on and so forth. But what you see in this slide here is the impact of changing the seeds. Now, it's not only the amount of yield that you can get from a small plot, it's also the size of the fruits that you get. Now, the local variety gave a fruit of about 36 grams per fruit, which is a very small fruit, as you've seen in the market picture. And the fruits of the high-quality varieties, they go up to even 100 grams per fruit and so on. So I'm not saying the bigger fruit is better, but bigger fruits get better prices in the markets. I'm not saying that the best one will be the one who gave almost 140 grams, but you want bigger fruits and better quality of the fruits. So to summarize the impact of improved varieties and know-how, higher yield, 5 times more yield than the Ethiopia average, resistance to plant pathogens. This is very important. This is one of the advantages of the seed companies, because they develop plant varieties that are resistant to plant pathogens. There is a new virus in Brazil, and the whole industry is getting ready to develop a resistant plant for the new viruses. So they adapt and they develop new varieties to withstand biotic stresses. What does it mean for the farmer? The yields are more stable. There are less risks involved when you produce your crop, and you use less chemicals for plant protection. Better produce quality, bigger fruits, as I've shown you, but not only that, better color and firmness. I don't know about you, but when I select a tomato in the store, the first thing I do, I look at the tomato, I choose by the color, but then I touch it to feel the firmness. Long shelf life. This is a major, major trait. In Ethiopia, the local varieties have no shelf life. You have to pick the fruit and sell it within 1 or 2 days. Otherwise, it will rot. It's too soft. But the professional varieties have long shelf life, and they can be stored up to 14 days without refrigeration. That means you can choose when to pick the fruits. You can store them in your house in a shaded place, and you can market them when the prices are better. So that gives a great economic benefit. So more produce is marketable, higher prices, higher income, and economic growth. Now, just to give you an example of the costs and the potential income from tomato plot in the Butajira area, using the chemicals and the fertilizers and the seeds that we have used in this experiment. So the income from the sales, and here I was very cautious. I didn't take into account 50 tons per hectare. I took into account 40 tons per hectare, just to be on the conservative side of the picture. The market price is around 30 cents per kilogram. So you can generate from 250 square meter plot, which is really your, I guess, a garden in the backyard of each of our houses. You can generate income of $300. And the expenses, the cost of the seeds is $8. The cost of fertilizers, chemicals, and other inputs are $22. And the gross profit is $270. Now, if you look at the income per year, 2 seasons per year, because vegetables are typically 3 to 4 months growing period, and you can produce 2 cycles of vegetables, you can reach a gross profit of $540 per year. Now, 250 meters is a very small plot. Remember, the farmers typically have between 1 hectare to 2 hectares. So if he goes to 1 hectare, to 1,000 square meters, they can reach $2,160 per year. Now, this is a significant income for a local smallholder farmer. Now, one thing that is very, very important to consider is the sustainability of the technology. Now, because we are making sure that the farmers will be able to buy the seeds and the agricultural inputs for the next seasons, using the additional income, they will be able to become regular customers of the seed companies or the agricultural input company, like any farmer in the developed world. The local partners, the Ministry of Agriculture or aid organization, we are going to transfer the know-how so they can implement the training programs. They can perform the variety trials, and they can achieve sustainable success. And the seed companies, once they have customers that are able to buy the seeds and use them, they will be more than happy to supply it. The problem now is they cannot reach these smallholder farmers who doesn't have the know-how and the training and the ability to buy the seeds. But once we generate this process, they will be able to sell the seeds for the local needs. This is our team. This is Dr. Alon Haberfeld. He is the technology manager. This is myself next to him. Amnon Tamir is the chairperson of Fair Planet, and Ori Shemesh, Matan Livne, and Lihi Bonfil are the volunteers who manage the field trials in Butajira for the second half of the season. The challenge we are facing today is raising the needed funds. Without funding, we cannot reach a meaningful impact. We are pursuing funding from three main sources: agribusiness companies, the seed companies, the irrigation companies, chemical companies. The seed companies already provided with some financial support, but this was for the pilot and for the technical step of variety evaluation. Aid funds we are seeking, we have submitted some proposals to USAID and to other philanthropic and development organizations. The problem here that it's a slow process. You submit a proposal and then it awaits evaluation, and it's a slow process, and we have to move forward. So the third source that we are aiming is crowdfunding. We are seeking small donations from private people, and this can be very immediate because we are seeking really small donations like $15 or $20, $30 to provide inputs per family in the Butajira area. And we are going to launch the crowdfunding in the next week. What we want is actually to connect people who care about these people in sub-Saharan Africa to the people trapped in poverty. This is our mission, and we care, and I hope that you care and join us.